Okay, must be a story behind this, but frankly we don't know it. We acquired this because the North Sea English coast is littered with wrecks, and there must be a lot of these down on the seabed somewhere. This one was caught up in a fisherman's gear off Seaham. He dragged it ashore, kept it for a while but didn't really want to keep it, so gave it to us. We don't know how long it's been on the bottom of the sea. We can look at it and make some guesses. My guess is about 150 years, but it is very much a guess. It's a nice old ship's wheel. The original would have been about 5 feet diameter. It's got 10 spokes. We don't know what the wood is. It's probably a hardwood. In fact, it must be a hardwood to have survived at all, but we don't know which hardwood. If we took it to an expert, he might be able to tell, but he'd have to drill holes in it. It's in pretty poor condition. It's been got at by all sorts of boring worms. There's little holes all over the place. There's barnacles. There's a couple of big barnacles down there on the bottom. There. It's in very poor condition. There's not much of it left. But there is enough to tell pretty well how it was made. Hardwood structure, 10 spokes. These bits, now, not sure of the proper word. On a cartwheel, we call them fellies, F-E-L-L-O-E-S. So I may well use that. Right, rather to my surprise, where there's one of the spokes missing, we're able to look at the ends of the fellies. And there is no mortise and tenon, no nails, no jointing structure at all. It's just been cut very accurately to the right shape and size and dropped into place. What holds it is a thin strip of wood around here with a brass strip that goes all the way around on the front. I say brass, we've got one clear edge just cleaned up, and it's the right colour for brass. It may well be a special brass, a phosphorus bronze of some sort, very corrosion resistant, often used for maritime work. But we don't know. The spokes originally would have come out to about here, so you can see how it got to be 5.5 feet across. Now, barnacles. The real strength of it is screwed into there. The metal holds it together, everything's fixed in place. The hub is missing, we've just had to guess. So, starting from that, we went and started building a sort of, not quite replica, but something resembling, so we could see how it was done, show people what it would have looked like. Well, having got the original wheel, I decided to try and build some sort of modern version of it to show what it would have looked like. 10 spokes, individually turned, neat little hub. There would have been a decent metal plate on the front. This one isn't quite large enough, need to recut that. Fellies set in. These are properly fixed, but they shouldn't be. We need a strip of wood around, reinforcing bars and so on, and a metal strip running right around it to hold it all together. Last item, had to build a tripod arrangement to hold it up so it could be in its proper position and move. Last point, one of the things the steersman would need to know was when he'd got it actually pointed dead ahead, nicely centred. So of these 10 handles, 9 are like that. One has got a couple of extra grooves cut in it, so he knows when it's pointed straight ahead. We don't have the hub from the original, so this is pure guesswork. It's just a couple of pieces from an old coffee table. Stuck together, cut, drilled, put on the lathe and generally trimmed up a bit, and a support and on an axle. That goes on, and we just put a nut on to hold it. Now the hub should have a nice metal plate because they're slightly domed to go over the mechanism. Metal's awkward to work, so this is just a chunk of oak with some brass resin on the top. That will fit on there, but I need to do the spokes and so on first. Okay, the spokes, once they come off the lathe, fit into there, fit in quite nicely. Eventually they'll be glued. At the moment they're just going to be held with a screw through the back.